Okay, very nice to see you all. Hi to Christine in Canada too. Thanks for your note. Yeah. Okay, let's take a comfortable seat where you feel like you can be at ease in yourself. And you've scheduled time to be here for your practice, so we also want your mind to be here for your practice, not to be elsewhere. So you're welcome to close your eyes and kind of draw the curtains on the mind for a time so you're really in your practice right here. You can rest your hands where they're comfortable or in your lap if that's your preference. Invite your awareness to filter in, to come in past the skin of the body, even past the muscles and bones, of course, noticing how you feel physically. But let your awareness filter inward towards the sort of like inner life that you know you have. It's mental, psychological, emotional, but also the spiritual, the subtle body. What else is alive or present within you right now? As you filter your attention inside, let that be now greeted by the breath. So you can just gently deepen your breath, like when you open the doors of your home to welcome in a guest. You have this sort of, gesture of humility and welcome. Imagine the same for the breath, to tell your attention and your inner life they're both welcome here. So you can make the breath a little bit smoother, a little bit more steady, like steady between the pace of inhale and the pace of your exhale. In any way you need to, you can also make the breath a little bit more kind or focused or deliberate. And just for a few breath cycles more, try to sense that the breath is welcoming you and your experience, welcoming you to know your internal experience. And with some gratitude for your practice, including the decades of your commitment to your practice and this opportunity that we share this morning, please join your hands to your heart. And then we can chant Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu. Let's begin. Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Savidyam Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vidvishavai, Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Savidyam Karavavai, Tejasvinnavaritamostu Ma Vidvishavahi Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Savidyam Karavavai Tejasvinnavaritamostu Ma Vidvishavahi Om Shanti Om Shanti Shanti Om. And with your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands. And since we will have our practice, this is a practice I'm adapting for people who need to do yoga with a chair or on the floor and less vigorous. We're actually going to start seated in the chair so we can work a bit on the neck and shoulders. So I'm going to ask you to come to your chair, or you can sit on the front of your sofa, you can sit on the coffee table, whatever it is that you find comfortable to sit on. And sit facing forward. If you have a chair that's not padded and you would prefer that, please by all means add the padding that you need. So when you take this seat, sit at the front edge of the chair and place your feet so they're hip distance apart. Yeah. Let me back up my chair a tiny bit. Okay, I'd like you to take your right hand down to hold the side of the chair, and for me that's the seat of the chair. It's based on the length of your arms and your torso. Some of you are going to hold the leg of the chair. It's too far for me. And you're going to tip your left ear, please, towards your left shoulder. And in that tipping, then also bring your chin very slightly in towards your throat or towards your right collarbone. I'm going to ask you to make just a really tiny movement of, you're going to keep your head on this diagonal, keep the chin in towards your throat, and just make a really tiny gesture of the chin going slightly left and slightly right, as if you were saying no. And notice the muscles from your upper inner shoulder blade on the right side up towards the base of your skull. And just like we were breathing in to welcome the experience of the inner body, you can breathe into these sensations to say good morning and to welcome whatever news these sensations are carrying for you. And start to make the movement of the chin a little bit wider, so less small. You may even take the left collarbone and the chin, and then left ear towards your left shoulder. So chin towards your left collarbone, left ear towards your left shoulder. Do that a couple times more. So you may be finding more sensations up near the occipital ridge as you change the distance that you travel. Or you may be finding the same sensations getting maybe a little bit easier or a little bit deeper. And bring your head to what you would consider neutral, even though you're still to the side. And then relax your right arm, let it dangle. And just really slowly, please float your head up to center and try to sense the muscles on the right side of your neck. They have to participate in bringing your head up. And the muscles on the left side have to kind of let go for your head to come back up. And change sides, hold the chair with your left hand. Slowly tip your right ear towards your right shoulder and bring your chin in towards your collarbone on the left side. And then make a tiny, no gesture, taking your chin slightly left and slightly right, but really small to start. So just getting to know kind of what is going on in there. The weight of the head atop your neck all day long, the activities that you're involved in. Of course, these muscles are going to have some patterning, some places of tightness, some places of ease. So start to make the movement of your chin a little bit wider, as if the pendulum were going slightly more left and slightly more right. So you can also think to yourself, okay, take the chin towards your right collarbone, and then right ear towards your right collarbone, right ear towards your right shoulder, excuse me. So this bit of movement, it might deepen the area that you were already having sensations, but it could also move the sensations up towards the base of your skull. Do a few times more slowly, exploring, and use the breath to help welcome your experiences. This is what your body is telling you is kind of the news of the day, as I like to call it. And bring your head to what you would consider to be neutral, while your ear is tipped down towards your shoulder. Relax your left arm, let it dangle. And then as you float your head up to center, picture the muscles on the left side of your neck helping to bring your head upright. The muscles on the right have to be able to let go. And sitting as far forward on your chair as you comfortably can, reach back to hold the arms of the chair. Now for some of you that's going to mean hold the outside of the chair. For some it's going to mean reach to the inside of the chair. And then raise your chest and heart up. And to the extent that your neck is comfortable with this, you can raise your chin up. And that opens the throat. Try to squeeze your shoulders back. That's more important than how high your chin can go up. And if at any time that you're raising your chin, it feels like you've got to move the shoulders forward, try not to go past that threshold. So the chin only goes as high as your shoulders truly are going back. Lift your collarbones up. And breathe in. And when you exhale, keep your shoulders back, but start to bring your chin slowly down in towards your throat. And think of it not just that your head's coming forward, but that you're actually bringing your chin in towards your throat and lift the base of your skull. Stretch the back of the neck right here. And then release both arms and try to position your head so it just comes upright, like right at the top of your spine. A really relaxed head position. Okay, now I'm going to ask you to turn to your right in your chair for a seated twist. So turn facing to the right and then reach up through your upper body and rotate to your right to hold the upper back of the chair. So now this morning as we're twisting to the right, I'm actually going to ask you to rotate your head with the breath cycle. Okay, so first set up your twist entirely to your right and gaze over your right shoulder. And close your eyes. So you're going to sense this movement from the inside. And when you exhale, turn your head as far as you comfortably can to your left. And inhale, turn your head as far as you comfortably can to your right. I'd like you to do that slowly about 5 or 6 times. So you stay in the twist with most of your body and only rotate your head. And when you rotate to your left, look over your left shoulder as far as you can, keeping your head upright, not tipping it left to right. And go in the other direction slowly. Take your time. The breath is not in a hurry. one more time, please turn your head to your right. And then you're going to twist your head only to your left. And then unwind your torso to come about to face towards your knees and let your head meet your torso there. So everything's facing to your knees. And notice the feeling or the echo of that in your body. And then let it spin around to the other side. So if you have a spinny chair like I do, you can do that. You can spin on the chair. Place both feet flat on the floor. Lift your chest and heart. Rotate to your left. And as you gaze over your left shoulder, initiate the twist so everything is rotating left. Keep the spine tall, and then with your breathing, we're going to be moving the head. So when you exhale, rotate your head as far as you comfortably can to your right. When you inhale, turn your head to gaze again to your left. So I want you to base that process on the length of your breath. So you're really moving in tandem with the pace of your breath. The breath like a mediator between you and your experience, helping to make connections and for the experience to be kind and nourishing. Let's do that twice more. So you're turning your head as far as you comfortably can right, while twisting left. And rotate to look over your left shoulder. And once more, turn your head to your right. Now, keeping your head rotated to the right as far as you can, start to unwind your torso so that your torso, sternum, head, and nose are going to meet in the center at the same moment. And notice how that feels in your body. And then rotate around to face forward. Okay, so that's a bit of a start. Now we're going to use the arms in this method where we go up on the inhale. And I'm also going to encourage you to raise your gaze up when you go up like that. And on the exhale, we're going to go out to the side. So check that you've got the clear space around you to do that. And let's do it together. So here's the in-breath. Raise your hands forward, arms forward. As the breath comes up, lift your gaze and look up. And then exhale, press out, and as you're pressing out, also bring your chin in towards your throat. So you're gazing past the bridge of your nose, down towards your toes. And then inhale, it's the hands and arms, and you're going to be raising your gaze and your head and heart all together. And exhale as you press out, slowly lower your chin down in towards your throat. Lift the base of your skull, gaze past the bridge of your nose. Twice more. Inhale to go up. Try to pace the breath and the movements together. Exhale, press out. Stretch your fingers wide. Stretch even to the nerve pathways out to your fingertips. Gaze down past the bridge of your nose. So you're lifting the base of your skull there. It's not that the head's coming forward. One more time. Inhale to go up. And as you look up, it's not really that your head is tipping back so much as that you're raising your heart, your collarbones, then your chin, then your eyes. And exhale to press out. Stretch your fingers. Include your thumbs. Bring your gaze down past the bridge of your nose. Rest your palms face down now and close your eyes and see to what extent does a quality of meditation come through spontaneously? Take this to doing some work with the shoulders from standing using your chair. So please rise up to stand, and let's take the chair so that the seat faces you. And if you have two blocks, I'd like you to place those on the seat of the chair as well. They're going to be there at the ready. Okay. So when you place your hands now, we're going to start with the upper back of the chair, which means that it's a little bit farther away and a little bit taller up. So you place the hands and then step backwards and see if you can sense for yourself what height would the two blocks most support your head. And for me, it's about like this. This has to be based on the height of your chair, the height of your hips and legs, the flexibility of your upper back, neck, and shoulders. And so when you find yourself in this kind of L position, the upside down L, I want your head to be very supported. Press down with both palms against the upper back of the chair. So you're going to tone the muscles of your arms and shoulders. We are not hammocking the armpits towards the floor here. Now energize your leg muscles so you can draw your hips back towards the wall behind you. Rotate your triceps in towards your nose, so your shoulders actually roll open slightly. And the shoulder blades, you might find it feels like they're wrapping around the sides of your rib cage. Breathing in. Then walk your hands down to the chair seat. Press against it, and please rise up to standing. Notice the feeling tone of your shoulders. We're going to use that setup one more time. We're going to turn the head to one side and then to the other side. So to do this, you're going to walk back out over the upper back of the chair. You might want to watch me first. So when I come down, I'm then going to turn my head as far as it comfortably goes to my left. Take my glasses off. So that when you turn your head, you're really resting on the left side of your temple. Left temple. And I want you to sense how this rotation of the head is going to change your experience very slightly. So come into position, and when you press down with both hands on the upper back of the chair, wrap your triceps in towards your nose and give special attention to your right arm. Because you've turned your head left, notice the right arm. Press into the heel of your hand, but emphasize the pinky finger side of your hand. Your outer elbow, the outer tricep, the outer shoulder blade. And then pull your right hip slightly further back than your left hip. You can even allow for the hips to rotate slightly to the left. Keeping the right shoulder steady, let your hips come back to center. Okay, place your right hand down on the chair seat and press into the chair seat with your right hand to twist your upper body to your left. As if you were going to look under your left arm to see what is Sarah Joy doing on her yoga mat. A little bit of a twist, the right hand can press down. And then rotate back to center, and let's do this. Place your forehead on the center of the blocks, right hand on the upper back of the chair. Pick up your head, turn to your right, so you're on your left temple. And as you rotate your head to the right, press into your left hand on the upper back of the chair. And try to squeeze the outer forearm, outer elbow, your left tricep, the left shoulder blade. You want to tone those muscles to support you, and then take your left hip slightly further back than your right hip, and glide your hips to the right. And then slowly bring your hips back to center. Now keep your right arm where it is, keep your head turned to the right, and take your left hand down to the chair seat. And press into your left palm to twist your upper body to your right. As if you're trying to look under your right arm. So just a small twist in the thoracic spine. And bring yourself back to center. Center your forehead. Place both hands on the chair seat and press up to standing. And you can push the blocks towards the back of the chair. You don't need them at the moment. place your hands on the sides of the chair, and we'll step back to one dog pose with the chair here. So now your hands are lower, so your hamstrings and calves might say good morning to you. And I'm going to ask you to bring with you the same kind of action. So you're going to press into the heels of the hands, yes, but emphasize the pinky finger side of the hands. Roll your triceps in towards your nose. Widen your shoulder blades. And lengthen both hips back away from your shoulder blades. You can imagine the spine is like a slinky, and you're lengthening the sitting bones and sacrum away from the shoulder blades, the whole spine getting longer. Now press down into all 10 toes, raise your heels, and start rolling your spine to come forward to plank pose with 2 straight, strong arms. And in plank pose, I would like you to press the chair actively down towards the floor as if you're holding it down. Lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. Lengthen the base of your skull away from your shoulder blades. And breathe in. And then reach your hips back. Keep your arms steady as you return to downward facing dog pose. And then stepping forward with your awkward foot first, whichever one that is. Then step forward with the other foot. Rise up to standing and just come to a simple mountain pose, facing whatever direction you're now facing. Notice, okay, what's happening? What are the sensations from your earlobes down to your fingertips? And what's happening in your heart? And with your breath. Now facing your right side to your chair, I'm going to ask you to take the 2 blocks that you had, and you're going to have to experiment with how high you want them to be, how high or how low. So we'll take a wide stance like this. So I'm lined up heel to heel right now. Just checking that I'm saying what's true. And then you're going to turn your right foot to face towards the chair. That is my right leg right now. So when you turn your foot, your hips are going to have a very slight angle. This happens to be my angle. You can see it with my hands. We don't maintain this sort of 180 or square to the camera. You've turned your foot, so you want the back heel to go slightly out. It's really indicating to your body where's your pelvis going to be going. And then you can place your right hand on the blocks. And I'd like you to imagine, just as we were twisting the neck now, we're going to keep the right leg steady, but turn your left low belly, turn your left hip, then rotate the lower spine, mid-spine. Roll your right shoulder back as you turn your thoracic spine. And raise your left arm up past your left ear. So right now we have this line from the left heel to your left fingertips and thumbs. Press firmly into your right arm. And keep increasing the length of the left side of your body. Breathe in smoothly. Notice how it is to turn your head to the left. Keep your right shoulder back to the right. And then as your body would like to, you can bend your right elbow and let the torso cascade over. If you may be able to continue gazing to your left, it might be time for you to gaze more forward or to gaze down. And take a deep breath in. The left side of your body can elongate with the inhale. And then exhale, root from your left low belly into your left heel and bring yourself upright. Release your left arm. Turn your right foot in so it's parallel. Okay, and keeping both legs stable, let's see what this is like to come forward and down now. And if necessary, take your blocks from the chair, please, and place them under your hands on the floor. Otherwise, come down and sort of explore, okay, what's happening now for you in Prasarita Padottanasana? How do the two hemispheres of your body feel? Particularly since we only stretched one side of the torso there. Listen for the attitude of the breath. How is it welcoming your experience to be known by you? And then raise your hands back up to your hips. Please rise up to standing. Now I'm going to ask you again to turn your right foot to the right. So we won't yet do the other side. We will switch, but turn your right foot to the right. Pick up your left heel and turn it further back. So you really got yourself now, so your hips are going to face towards the chair. Yeah. Now this is a different pose, has a similar name. The first one is called Trikonasana. This is called Parita Trikonasana. So this is already a balance pose. Take both arms out to the side. Raise both arms up. Root your tailbone down. And then as you exhale, bring your right arm down alongside your torso. Reach it back. And as you're coming forward, aim for your left hand to reach to the upper back of the chair. You can scoot your blocks to be in position to support you, to turn your head to the right, and to rest your right temple on the blocks. Take your right hand to your right hip and just glide your right hip back so that you are twisting your thoracic spine to the right. Roll your right shoulder up towards the ceiling. Breathe in. You might feel your left calf muscle. You might feel the right outer hip and hamstring. You might be noticing the difficulty of balance or coordination, but every effort towards integration will matter. Now with your next inhale, press into both feet and begin to windmill your arms back up. The left one will come up first, and then your right arm. And then release the arms so your hands come to your hips. Okay, now slowly bend your right knee. So you're going to keep the back heel grounded as well as you can. And bend your right knee to come into the legs for Virabhadrasana 1. This means the Warrior 1 pose. Now press firmly into your left heel. That really matters, that you can root from your left hip and left low belly down into your left heel. And raise your left arm up alongside your left ear. Root down through your tailbone, energize your right leg muscles, and then raise your right arm forward and up, so long as you can keep your balance with both arms up. Notice the deliberate work you need to do for your own foundation here. Your feet, your calves, both heels, your knees and thighs, the hips and pelvis. And with your next inhale, straighten your right leg so the pose goes up. And then exhale, rotate to face center or forward. And one more time, let's see what Prasarita Padottanasana feels like from here. Allow your breathing to deepen into the low region of your pelvis and your abdomen. And notice again how your breath helps you to welcome your experiences. We have this phrase in yoga, we say, suffering is resistance to what is. Therefore, freedom is our ability to welcome what our experiences are. And then wisdom is acting in alignment with what we know to be true. So the what is, the acceptance of, and then the wisdom and action related to. Please bring your hands up to your hips, and as you rise up to standing, step your feet now back to center, heel toe, and come in. Yeah. Let both arms relax. And let's just notice, it might feel like you're standing on a boat and you're kind of unsteady because here we are. Only one side of the body has really had this particular sequence. The other side had a different experience of the same sequence. So let's have you turn so that you're going to have your left side facing towards your chair. I'll move my chair so I can still see you guys. So now we take the wide stance and turn your left toes directly towards the chair. The first pose is Trikonasana. So I'm going to put my blocks back down as I had on my first go. And please do line up heel to heel as well as you can. Your hips are going to have a slight angle. Yep. Root down through your tailbone. Sweep your arms wide. And then as you come over, place your left hand firmly on the blocks. Raise your right arm past your right ear. Root down into your right heel. Tone your right butt muscles. Just think of incrementally lengthening the right hemisphere of your body. Your right heel, right outer hip, the interior of the right rib cage. You're going to rotate your tricep in towards your nose like we did earlier with the chair, and see how you can turn your head to the right, whatever amount you have the neck strength for. Keeping your leg muscles toned. Start to bend your left elbow. So you're going to come over to a little deeper side bend, but without any loss of integrity in your body. And when you next exhale, tone your right low belly. Root into both legs and use your right belly to pull yourself back up. Release your right arm. Let's make the feet parallel and check and see, just partway through our sequence, what does Prasarita feel like now to the two hemispheres of your body. Of course, you can take the blocks from your chair to put them on the floor if you need to. That's in the event that the floor is a little too far away for your hands to reach. And then shift your hands to your thighs, rise up to standing. Okay, now we're going to turn the left foot again directly towards the chair, but also turn your right heel more deeply back. So it's going to become a balance pose. Because you're standing really kind of heel to heel here, and it's also a balance pose because the back foot's on an angle, and we're a little bit wide front to back. So keeping your balance, you need your eyes, your awareness, your breath, and your seatbelt muscles. Those are across the low abdomen. And let's raise both arms up. Root down from your right hip to your right heel. That's very important. And then as you exhale, start coming forward. Lower your left arm forward. Draw your left arm back alongside your torso. Bring your right hand out to the upper back of the chair. Turn your head to your left so that can go where your right temple is going to be on the blocks. And place the left hand on your left hip to encourage your left hip to draw back. As you're rotating your upper body to your left, there will be a limit as to how far you can turn. Try keeping your legs really stable from your hips to your heels. Now, keeping your legs grounded, begin the process of rising up. And what you do is you press from your left hip to your heel, windmill your right arm up before your left arm, and the left arm joins the right. Take your arms wide. Bring your hands down to your hips so you can feel more grounded. And then without your right heel coming uprooted, bend your left knee to come into Virabhadrasana 1. As you come into Warrior One, notice the difficulty or the ease, the access that you have to keeping your back heel grounded, or any challenge that you're facing. And then raise your right arm forward, right arm up. And if you can keep your balance, take your left arm forward, left arm up. And slowly, as you exhale, allow your arms to float out to the side, to come down. Straighten your left leg. Rotate to face forward on your sidewise mat there, and come down. And see how Prasarita Padottanasana feels again. Knowing that you've had this sort of excursion into a couple of standing poses that are more extroverted, and this is a more introverted pose. Notice how your breath is helping you to welcome your experience. You might remind yourself of this little phrasing where we say, suffering is resistance to what is happening. Freedom is the acceptance of what is happening in reality. And wisdom is being able to act in alignment with what you know to be true, to come into your integrity in relationship to what's happening. And that could be something happening in your inner life, or it could be in your ecological, political, social, environmental, interpersonal life as well. Please shift your hands up to your hips and then rise up to standing. And let's go heel toe until you can step into mountain pose comfortably. And when you come to mountain pose, let both arms relax and notice, really, there might be tension draining from your body as you practice these things. Even though there's some effort in the poses, there's also this melting away of body tension. So I'm going to ask you to take your chair once again and to sit in it facing forward so you can see me. And the blocks you may put under your feet. You'll see where we're going in a moment. You don't need to have a block under your feet, but you may be someone who uses that. Okay, so when you take a seat now, sit towards the front edge of your chair and cross your right ankle over your left knee. Some people find that this stretch is really easy for them, so they put a block under their foot on the floor. I'm not one of those people, but it would have the effect of raising your knee up, so the stretch would be stronger. Lift up through your heart, please. Press your right knee down, not by using your hands, but by using your hip muscles. Lengthen your spine up. And then whatever amount your right hip agrees to, you can come slightly forward, or you can come very far forward, or somewhere in between. Let your breathing come down and in. So you can again again practice greeting your experience, including the subtle body, the emotional body, mental body, not only your right hip joint, but practicing there with the sensations is a way to help ourselves practice welcoming other things in life. Now rooting down into both hips and both sitting bones, please rise slowly up to sitting. Keep pressing your right knee down. Notice if you have any greater access to that, having been in the forward bend. Like if the knee normally rests up here and you press it down with your hip muscles, does it go? Do you have some ability to move it on your own? And then cross your right hand to your right ankle. Take your left hand on the chair seat behind you and make a twist to your left. Look over your left shoulder, please. As you're gazing over your left shoulder and twisting to your left, try continuing to press your right knee down so you don't forget about it. And then gently follow your exhale to come back around to face forward. Okay, and place your right foot on the floor. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. And press your left knee down, kind of all on its own, doing what it can to go down. And then you lift up through the spine, the inner body. And any amount that your left hip agrees to, you can come forward, even if it's no amount, even if sitting up in the stretch is already kind of demanding enough. And by the way, if this is already a very strong stretch for you, it can really help to sit on a couple of blankets on your chair because it raises your hips up and gives you more ease for your hip joint. So whatever amount you come forward, whatever the sensations you're working with, let the breath really come in to facilitate a sort of warm welcome, where you'd open your front door to welcome a guest. You have this feeling of humility. In the same way you open your body to receive the sensations. Notice how you're breathing in, how you're breathing out. What is the breath? If it had an attitude, what is it saying about these sensations? How does it help keep you present? And then rise up to sitting, and let's cross the left hand over your left heel, please. Raise up through your heart and start to rotate to your right. And see if you can turn to the right, even turning your gaze to the right, without forgetting about your left hip. So you're pressing the left knee down. Even though it may not go very far, I want you to use the muscles in your left inner hip, outer hip, the muscles that connect your thigh bone to your hip joint. And as you exhale, start to rotate around to face forward and place your left foot back on the floor. Now, this is, again, we're going to come just to noticing that your body might be not only navigating these positions and having sensations, but right now You may be resolving a tension pattern in your body. Sometimes people start to feel really tired. They're aware of how tired they are underneath the tension that their body was holding. Sometimes at first you feel this kind of contented, like lazy cat in the sun sort of feeling, and then we're going to go to Shavasana, and there can be this like revival of your energy, your vitality, this clarification of your mind. So what I'd like us to do for Shavasana today is to have the chair plus 2 blankets, and I'll move these things so you can see. So if you take your chair so that it's going to support your shins, and you could either use a bolster or 2 blankets. I'm going to show you with 2 blankets because I know some of you don't have bolsters in your room. So let's say blanket number 1 goes this way in front of the chair. Let me take blanket number 2 here. I want them to be a different color than my mat so that you'll be able to see them, and I want them to be different colors from each other so you can see it's 2 blankets stacked like this. And then what you do is you come down to place your hips on the side of the blanket, and you lie on your side and then roll onto your back. Position your hips in the center of those blankets, and then you can take the chair, and I'm going to tip mine with my toes, so that what I did was I just picked up the front of the feet right here because I pushed the upper back of the chair with my toes. Other times people just like to take their legs through the upper back of the chair. It depends on the kind of chair that you have. I would like your knees to be comfortable though, so I don't want the chair kind of pushing into the back of your knee joints where it feels uncomfortable. Okay. And then bring your head to center, tuck your shoulder blades under. Let's take the palms face up out to the side. And close your eyes and try to imagine, you can imagine like this entire inner village of little chaperones in your body, little happy workers. They're so delighted you came to yoga practice, and now they're sweeping the streets and cleaning the neural pathways, and they're kind of cleaning the mirrors of the mind. They're doing all the inner housekeeping chores. So you're going to rest and let them do this job on your behalf. A little bit like when you go to have acupuncture and you then have to rest when they put the needles in, and you let the meridians and the chi in the acupuncture do its job. You can let the eyes close and go inward. Relax your tongue. Soften the place behind your eyes. Allow the inner ears to relax so you're not working hard in any of your muscles, your bones, nor any of your senses, nor in your mind. When you're resting, from time to time, you may have this experience of sort of dropping in. Invite your body to become more limp with relaxation. If your mind threatens to become busy, you can use a little mantra, something like, just rest, just rest. There. Be at ease.
As you rest, allow your body to return to that in you which is not tension, which is not apprehension. Imagine these countless tiny workers inside your body taking care, reviving your vitality and your health. Allow all 5 senses to deeply relax. Soften your face, your hands, your feet. Allow your mind and all 5 senses, both hands and feet, all the muscles of the body to deeply relax, to soften the unnecessary tension. The inner work is being done for you right now to revive your vitality. And welcoming awareness of how you have been able to surrender to some extent. And gently slide your knees towards your chest. So your hips are still on the blanket. And then let the knees come in towards your chest a bit more so your feet can come off of the chair seat and glide towards your shoulders. Let the knees separate if they need to. And then thoughtfully roll down to your right side, aware of whatever objects are there, including your glasses. You can press yourself up to take a simple seat on your chair or on your blankets. We're going to have a few minutes right now for meditation. So when you come up, don't gather any tension, don't accumulate anything. Come up to sit. So the mind can have that inner experience that Shavasana was for the body. The chattering mind, right? The Ferris wheel mind. When the chattering mind or the Ferris wheel mind is quieter, it means that we have access to our wisdom mind, our grace-filled mind, our love mind, that in us which is wisdom, grace, and love, Sat Chidananda. Invite the chattering mind to stay very quiet, outside the radar screen of your present moment mind. Wisdom, grace, and love.
together at your heart. And knowing that our society and even our civilization is facing great unrest right now, multitudes of distress, and knowing that not everybody has access to a practice that revives or recalibrates them. When you bring your palms together at your heart, try to consider how your practice today may become a resource for you in navigating life, and also your deep desire for others to have this resource in them, to remember there's a resourced place in them. For those for whom civilization has made being resourced extremely difficult, you can bring them into your heart with compassion. And we'll chant together Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere have access to the means of safety or ease, grounding or connection. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. So nice to be with you here. I'm going to come forward where I can see you better. And how are you doing? How are you feeling?